Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy, man. For today's video, we got a video by Barry Allen, The Flash. No, I'm just joking. It's actually Barry McCockner, and this video is titled All NBA Teams G.O.A.T edition, man, which spells GOAT, if you didn't know. So, I'm going to assume he's going to give us his All NBA Teams GOAT edition. That's my guess here, man. But yeah, link to Barry's channel description below. Let's go ahead, man. Get going on this. Give you all my thoughts and opinions and concerns. I don't know, man. Let's get it.
Every season, the NBA
I'm sure we'll be fine.
3 All-NBA teams to reward the best players. In this video, I'm going to do the same thing, only for all of NBA history. I'm going strictly by position, not fit. I will also list each player's best career moment.
Wait. So going by position, not fit. Okay. So basically saying, like, maybe like LeBron and MJ playing together ain't like the greatest thing. Okay.
All-time NBA third team. Point guard, Chris Paul. CP3's longevity is so far above Isaiah Thomas's. His peak is way better than John Stockton's, and Oscar Robertson didn't have much playoff success as the lead man either, which is a common criticism of CP3. But CP3 gets the edge over Robertson because he's played in a better era, especially for point guards. He might be a bit of a playoff choker, but every team he's been on instantly becomes better, and that has to count for something.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas
moment, dropping 41 points and 8 assists on 16 of 24 shooting in Game 6 of the 2021 Western Conference Finals to reach his only NBA Finals. Shooting guard, Dwyane Wade. Wade's first 7 to 8 years before his knee problems were...
Let me think about that one for a second. Yeah, because you got MJ, Kobe. I would say Dwyane Wade's the third best shooting guard of all time. Yeah, that's actually 100%. That's not anything to even think about. That's definitely
just
true.
Just a touch or two below LeBron's in terms of quality. His 2006 title run was legendary, even if he benefited a ton from the refs in the finals. He was never a great outside shooter, but his slashing ability and fearlessness towards attacking the rim, no offense to his wife Gabrielle Union, made him special. However, his playoff career post-2006 without LeBron is surprisingly bad. Best career moment, averaging 39, 8, and 4 on 62% true shooting over the last
D-Wade in his prime, there was nobody like him.
His first ring and only finals MVP.
At the time. Well,
some might be
he was really good.
See Bird this early, but I couldn't let nostalgia overwhelm my opinion.
What Larry just do right there? Y'all see that move, man? Look at that.
Mad to see Bird this early, but I couldn't let nostalgia overwhelm my opinion.
He did not just do that to him, man. Just, oh my god. Yo, if I was tall enough, I'd be doing that to people all the time, man.
Years from 84 to 88 were special, and he won 3 MVPs, 2 rings, and 2 finals MVPs in that span. But Bird has 2 things working against him. He had just 9 prime seasons, and his playoff career outside of 1984 and 1986 is surprisingly weak. He was a complete all-around player, but not as good of a postseason scorer
man was all
as
peak.
you'd think, even before the injuries. Best career moment, averaging 27, 14, and 4 on 60% shooting in the 1984 finals.
That's when Stranger Things takes place.
MVP. It was also the only time he defeated his rival Magic Johnson in the finals in his career. Power forward, Dirk Nowitzki. I was torn between KG and Dirk for this spot. Do you choose Dirk's scoring and offensive skill set that translates to any situation, or KG's insane versatility and impactful?
I think Dirk and KG are pretty close. You know, that was the era with KG, Dirk and Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan is the best of those 3. Then you have to come down to matter of, like, I look at the ring of Dirk and KG, and I think Dirk's is a bit more impressive. Not saying, KG didn't let it all out, man, for the Boston Celtics, but, like, Dirk won them that ring, the Boston Celtics team won them their ring, so.
Defense. Both won 1 ring.
That's just one thing, though, I guess, but yeah.
In the end, I went with Dirk because he was a more consistent postseason performer, and his 2011 title was more impressive than KG's 2008 title.
There we go.
I know I'm getting 25 points per game with prime Dirk on my team, no matter what the era or situation is. Best career moment, averaging 26, 10, and 2 on 54% true shooting, and a massive upset.
He'd be even better in today's era.
Finals for his only ring and finals MVP. Special thanks to LeBron. Center, Hakeem Olajuwon. In my top 12 players of all time video, I ranked Hakeem ahead of Shaq and actually placed him in my top 5, but after doing more research, I overrated Hakeem and underrated Shaq. Hakeem was a complete big man and was an absolute gamer in the playoffs during his prime, winning 2 rings and 2 finals MVPs, but I wonder why his teams made it past the second round just 4 times in his 15-year prime. For all of his gifts, it seemed like it should have translated to more consistent team success. Hakeem had a more aesthetically
who was beating him down?
A better defender than Shaq, but Shaq was just better offensively, and his teams won more consistently than Hakeem's. That was enough to knock Hakeem down to the 3rd team for me. Best career moment.
But I think we can all recognize, though, that Hakeem used to dominate on young Shaquille O'Neal. But, yeah, I mean, it's entire career, not just those situational matchups, obviously.
Averaging 35, 13, and 5 with 4 blocks per game on 59% true shooting in the 1995 Western Conference Finals against the newly crowned MVP David Robinson. All-time NBA second team.
Here we go.
Point guard, Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry,
Steph
okay.
finally lost his Finals MVP virginity on his 6th try, and his fans are going so overboard with praise, it's obvious they want to have sex with him. No, he's not as good as LeBron.
Look at Curry, man.
And no, he wasn't the best player on the Warriors in the 2017 and 2018 Finals, but his impact offensively is real and has been the driving force behind the Warriors winning 4 rings in 8 years. Do I think he'd have the career he's had if not for well-timed injuries to opponents, recruiting KD like a bitch, being blessed with the second best shooter ever, and the best defensive player of his generation for all of his prime?
Second best shooter ever? Wait, say that again.
He'd have the career he's had if not for well-timed injuries to opponents, recruiting KD like a bitch, being blessed with the second best shooter ever, and the best defensive player of his generation for all of his prime? No, but that's life. He still never beat LeBron on an even playing field, though. Best career moment, averaging 31, 6, and 5 a game on 63% true shooting in the 2022 Finals to win his 4th ring.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I would say maybe about 10 months ago at this point, I was really thinking if I wanted to have Steph Curry as my greatest point guard of all time, and I was pretty close to it, and, you know, having him over Magic and stuff, and I don't know, man. And it's like my argument would be even stronger now, but now I'm like, I actually don't know. I don't know. I've been thinking, like, I have that thought probably once a week, to be honest.
First legit ring, and
give me your thoughts.
MVP. Shooting guard, Kobe Bryant. I've already made my opinion on Kobe clear. He's overrated, but still a legendary player. That hasn't changed. But I believe one of the few things most people can agree on about Kobe is that he's the second best shooting guard of all time behind you-know-who. Kobe was so skilled, I think it actually worked against him.
You know, talk about Kobe being overrated to an extent. I think the reason I think we can all agree that maybe Kobe gets overrated is not because like his skill set or anything like that, but you know, obviously with the tragic accident that happened to him, everything like that. I mean, I think the impact that Kobe has had on so many NBA fans, I think is what really just collectively makes us think of him in that light. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Just like I don't know. I can't think of a basketball player that has really had just like that Mamba mentality. Man, I even see it right there, you know, effect on so many people for so many reasons, man.
As he thought he could make every shot. If he wasn't so stubborn with taking tough shots, he might have made the MJ comparisons a real thing. But his rather mediocre efficiency relative to other all-time greats is what makes him a top 10 player as opposed to a top 3 or 4 player like his fans believe him to be. Best career moment, averaging 32, 6, and 7 on 53% true shooting in the 2009 Finals to win his 4th ring and first Finals MVP, proving he could win without Shaq. Small forward, Kevin Durant. It's a shame how KD's career has turned out. He had it made in Oklahoma City as a likable, homegrown superstar who was protected by the media and also
I ain't gonna lie, like literally like second or third year I saw a quote from Kevin Durant just absolutely just trashing Detroit, just saying just like I forgot what he said exactly, but just something about like I would never play in Detroit or something like who wants to play in Detroit. I don't know, it was something like that. And that was even when they were like, what year was KD drafted? Was it 2000? Was it like 2006? I think it was was it that 2008? I don't know. The Pistons were actually on their way to be trashed by then. By the time he made that quote, so maybe he had some sort of logic to it.
Good enough to win the title. But of course, we know what happened next. He went to Golden State and won 2 rings and 2 Finals MVPs, which nobody respects.
Now he going
His
to
time in Brooklyn has been filled with disappointments
Suns
and injuries, but he's still the most complete scorer ever, and no matter how much Steph fans want to rewrite history, KD was the best player for Golden State in the 2017.
I want Kevin Durant to go to the Chicago Bulls. I want him to win a ring there, because not only is he winning a ring on like a team that I don't know, man. Like I just feel like the Chicago Bulls are Kevin Durant away from winning it all, and I want that. I don't want him to go and play with other superstars. I want him to be the superstar and have like the Zach LaVine All-Star on his team and have like the DeMar DeRozan on his team. I want to see that. I don't know, man. I just think it would be cool for his legacy.
2017 and 2018 Finals, and there's a very good chance Golden State doesn't beat the 2017 Cavs or the 2018 Rockets without him. Best career moment, leaving Golden State in free agency in 2019. Power forward, Karl Malone. Notorious child lover, Karl Malone's off-court history is well known and rightfully held against him, but this is a basketball video, and I'm looking strictly at his on-court contributions. If you look at just the regular season, Malone has an argument as a top 5 player ever. His consistency was legitimately remarkable, and his teams consistently won. But the big bugaboo for Malone as a player was the postseason. He was a choker and a massive one at that. Year after year,
I said that because I was thinking Post Malone. My bad.
His efficiency fell off a cliff, and he could never get over the hump and win a title. It's for the best. Best career moment, averaging 30, 10, and 5 a game on 59% true shooting in the 1998 Western Conference Finals to sweep the Lakers and reach his second straight NBA Finals. Center, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq's career is a puzzle wrapped in an enigma. His resume of 4 rings, 3 Finals MVPs, and an MVP is legendary, but there was always a feeling he could have done more. Those 4 rings...
I'm so curious. You know, this is so interesting because, like, we talk about it, like, in terms of, like, all NBA teams and everything like that, but I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, either, like, Wilt or Kareem is going to be, like, left off this list, or Bill Russell, but it's, like, it's all NBA teams.
Should have
it's
been
not like
5
an
or 6
all-time
rings
greatest
instead.
players
Those
ranking.
There's
only so many center positions to be
4 or
had.
5 Finals MVPs, and he should have won at least 3 or 4 MVPs instead of 1 if he was more serious about his conditioning. As is, though, he was the best player in the league for a good 4 to 5 years.
Show
and
Big
has
Ben
some of the best
blocking him
Finals
now.
performances ever.
Show
he
the
had
Big Ben
ability
block.
to be a top 2 or 3 player.
I don't know why you would, but do it.
Best career moment, averaging 38 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game on 61% shooting in the 2000 Finals to win his first ring. And
you know, I look at this, I look at these numbers, 38, 17, I'm just like, oh my god, like, obviously that's insane, crazy numbers. And I think about, like, the one player where I'm just like, man, who's, like, the closest that, like, reminds me of Shaq? It definitely is Giannis. Like, Giannis definitely put up some stat lines where you're like, wow, that actually is realistic.
Finals MVP and kick off the Lakers three-peat. All-time NBA first
go.
Point guard, Magic Johnson. There's been a push recently to put Steph Curry over the notorious condom hater as the best point guard of all time. And while I personally think an argument can be made that Steph is a better player, I'm not completely sold just yet. Magic's resume is ridiculous. 5 rings, 3 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs, and 9 Finals appearances in 11 healthy seasons. Like Steph, Magic was blessed with great teammates, but those Lakers teams went from good to great because of him. As players, Magic and Steph couldn't be more different. Steph is a sharp...
See, I would say the same thing about Steph Curry, though. I don't know, like, I know Klay Thompson is the second greatest shooter of all time by the look of things right now. And, you know, he was going to be a great shooter no matter what, but damn, when you are the second greatest shooter and you have the greatest shooter taking pressure off you, I do think there's something to be said about that.
Sharp shooter with an amazing handle who does his most damage off the ball. Magic was on the ball a lot, didn't shoot many threes, and had a boring but effective handle to get where he wanted to on the court. Both led many elite offenses doing it their way. I just think Magic has a little more to show for his career than Steph at this point. Best career moment, averaging 26, 8, and 13 a game on 59% true shooting in the 1987 Finals to win his 4th ring and 3rd Finals
LeBron's
MVP,
definitely Magic.
which also gave him his 2nd Finals win and bragging
Kobe
rights
is
over
MJ.
Larry Bird and the Celtics. Shooting guard, Michael Jordan. You already know about MJ and why he's here. What's more interesting to talk about is how he changed basketball forever, but not in the way you think. He ruined basketball discourse because so many people think the only way to win championships is to shoot 30 times a game like he did. And if you don't, you're a mentally weak loser. Jordan had great luck in terms of timing. The 90s were a weak era, and the Bulls got to avoid facing any historically great teams while they had the most complete roster in the league to complement MJ. To his credit, MJ capitalized on it by getting 6 rings and 6 Finals MVPs, but ball hogging like he did isn't normally conducive to winning basketball. I also can't deny this fact. The guy was absolute nails in the clutch and the 4th quarter.
You know, it is crazy to look at some of these great players, though, just because, like, like MJ played the way he did, but the reason it worked is because I feel like the sacrifice of, like, Scottie Pippen. Like, Scottie Pippen did so much also for those Bulls team, much so where it's like, you look at, like, Steph with the Warriors, and I feel like Draymond is like what Draymond brings. Like, man, he really is like that glue guy, and that's what Scottie Pippen was for that Bulls team. I don't know, it's interesting.
And that's why he's a top 2 player ever. Best career moment, averaging 41, 9, and 6 a game on 56% true shooting in the 1993 Finals.
That's me after the damn all-you-can-eat buffet.
Finals MVP to complete his first three-peat. Small forward, LeBron James. LeBron is the most complete basketball player of all time. It also speaks to his standards that he's considered a loser for only having 4 rings, 4 Finals MVPs, and 10 Finals appearances. Detractors will point to his Finals record and say that's why he can't be the GOAT, and to a certain extent they're right. But let's also be real. If you're going to mention Ray Allen's shot and Kyrie's shot, you also have to mention his best teammate missing the finals in 2015, something MJ never had to endure, and having to face the KD Warriors for 2 years, also something MJ never had to endure. If I wanted to be extra picky, I could say...
And I mean, like, LeBron's not the only superstar to have, you know, players on his team, like, hit big shots. Like, there's plenty of other examples of that.
LeBron would have won it all in 2021, too, had Solomon Hill not dive-bombed into his ankle and Anthony Davis never got hurt. But one doesn't have to deal in what-ifs to make LeBron a great player. He's still elite going into year 20.
Running it down.
A special, special talent, no matter how much you may hate him. Best career moment, winning his third ring and third Finals MVP after leading the 2016 Finals in all 5 major categories.
Y'all go while drinking.
73-win Golden State team after falling behind 3-1. Power forward, Tim Duncan. Whereas LeBron is controversial and demands.
I love Tim Duncan, man. I don't know. I don't talk about the San Antonio Spurs a lot. I love Tim Duncan so much. I love how much he dominated just with the simple fundamentals of the game. Like,
constant media attention, Duncan was the opposite. He was laid back and content with playing in a small market where he could just focus on basketball and not have the media in his face 24/7. The result was 19 years of nonstop success, including 5 rings, 3 Finals MVPs, and 2 MVPs. Duncan was pretty boring to watch and didn't have many flashy highlights, so he doesn't get a lot of coverage.
That was on the Pistons too. Damn, man. Did that to Detroit.
Also cuts 2 ways, and this is something most people don't even talk about. He didn't get as much attention for his success, but his failures also got glossed over more than other superstars' failures have. Duncan basically load managed the entire second half of his career, and nobody said much when his team.
Tim Duncan is basically Giannis after basketball skills camp.
Fell short in the playoffs, or he put up mediocre
He played that
stats.
same kind
he
of
had
like
it made in San Antonio,
clankiness.
But he also
that Giannis
made
got.
San Antonio. Now that's a
Best
career moment, averaging 24, 17, 5, and 5 blocks per game on 55% true shooting in the 2003 Finals versus the Nets to win his second ring and second Finals MVP. And center, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There will always be debates about who the best center of all time is. Is it Wilt, Russell, Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem, etc.? Wilt had the stats, Russell had the wins, Shaq had the peak, Hakeem had the iconic moves, but Kareem had all of that. Stats? Well, he's the all-time leading scorer. Wins? Well, he has 6 rings and 2 Finals MVPs.
Yeah, I don't disagree with this at all.
The most of any player ever. Iconic moves? Does the skyhook ring any bells? Kareem was the best player in the league for nearly a decade and was still an elite player deep into his 30s.
The way to stop that sky hook is you need to double team. You need to bring the defender as he's about to get there and just steal the ball every time, man. I'm sure they tried.
The only knocks against him could be that his peak came in a weak era, fueled by drugs and splitting talent with the ABA. His teams also never won anything without a legendary point guard, although Oscar Robertson was past his peak in 1971 when Kareem won his first ring. He was also not the best player for at least 2 of his rings, whereas Jordan and LeBron were the clear-cut best player for all of theirs. All things considered, Kareem is a clear top 3 player ever, and the only guy besides MJ or Bron you can argue as the GOAT without being laughed out of the room, in my opinion. Best career moment, averaging 26, 9, and 5 on 63%
MVP at age 37
in the 1985 Finals at age 37 to win his 4th ring and 2nd Finals MVP 14 years after he won his first Finals MVP. I'm sure everybody agrees with every single decision I made in this video, so there's not going to be any arguments in the comment section. But in the off chance there is, go ahead and state who you think are your all-time All-NBA players. And by the way, I know you were watching porn last night. You sick, disgusting piece of shit.
All right,